Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is April 24th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1916, the legend himself, Lou Thesz. From one legend to another, 1922, the legendary luchador, Blue Demon. 1927, AWA's Pepper Gomez. And last but not least, 1968, one more legend, a Japanese legend, Yuji Nagata. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for April 24th. 2001, Johnny Valentine. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for April 24th. Not a long trip in the Wayback Machine today, but we're going to start in 1967. John and Chris Tolos defeat Don Leo Jonathan and Rocky Johnson to win the NWA Canadian Tag Team titles for the second time. 1978, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation ran an event at Madison Square Garden. In the main event, world champion Bob Backlund defeats superstar Billy Graham in a steel cage match. 1982, AWA President Stanley Blackburn announced that a 4/18/82 Hulk Hogan AWA World title win over Nick Bockwinkel in St. Paul, Minnesota would be stricken from the record books. During this match, Bockwinkel's manager Bobby Heenan hit Hogan with a foreign object. When he attempted to throw it to Bockwinkel a second time, Hogan caught it and used it himself to set up the win. Hogan is never officially considered the AWA champion. 1987, Ken Patera wrestled his first match following his prison term for the infamous McDonald's incident at a WWF television taping in New Haven, Connecticut. Patera defeated Hercules Hernandez via disqualification when Harley Race and Bobby Heenan interfered. 1989, New Japan Pro Wrestling held their first ever Tokyo Dome event, Super Powers Clash, drawing 44,000 fans for a show that featured a tournament for the IWGP title. In the tournament final, Big Van Vader defeated Shinya Hashimoto to win the IWGP title, with Lou Thesz as special referee. 1990, at a WWF television taping in San Antonio, Texas, Roddy Piper fought Rick Martel to a double DQ in an Intercontinental title tournament match. What makes this match interesting is that the finals of the tournament, with Curt Hennig defeating Tito Santana for the title, was taped the night before, as we covered on yesterday's show. 1991, the WWF held a UK-only pay-per-view called UK Rampage at the London Arena in England. In the main event, WWF World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan defeated Sergeant Slaughter. 1994, at a WCW television taping at the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, Ric Flair defeated Ricky Steamboat to win back the WCW World title, which had been held up due to a double pin finish at Spring Stampede. This match would air on WCW Saturday night and would be the final bout between Steamboat and Flair. And last but not least, 1999, ECW and the WWF both run shows in New York City at the same night, with ECW running the Elks Lodge in Queens, New York, while the WWF ran Madison Square Garden in Manhattan. Both shows were sold out, with ECW drawing 1,000 fans for their event, while the WWF drew 16,000 for theirs. The ECW main event was ECW television champion Rob Van Dam defeating Bubba Ray Dudley, while the WWF main event was Steve Austin and The Big Show defeating The Rock and Triple H. Those were your pro wrestling history highlights for April 24th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.